Yes, you do live. We all live. In fact, the kobolds all live because it's another thrilling tale, the adventures of the kobolds. In fact, the last time on the kobolds, you unalived someone by the power of the very still living kobolds. That someone who has been unalived is in fact Avarice, whom you tracked down and demolished not only her, but all of her cultists as well, save for one. A cultist who seemingly was a very young man, who seemingly saw the light and didn't want anything to do with the cult anymore. But of course, the hold of the Archdevil Levistus was still tightly on him. And so, the very kind Mipo Molo asked her goddess, Eldath, to intervene in this matter. And Mipo had tried before several times to get Eldath's assistance, but the goddess was unable to do so. But this time, using her might and her power, she was able to lift the curse, the bond, the pact that was made from this individual. And now, this young man has his soul and is free to live his life as he wishes. Indeed, Eldath has wrecked so many plans that it's unreal. Despite being a pacifistic god, she has indirectly caused a lot of change in the world, thanks to her follower Mipo Molo and her allies. What a chaotic bunch they all are. And so we return. We return to the kobolds in the depths of this wrecked waterway. The still frozen over corpses of both Avarice and her cronies are still in the tunnel, along with the the gargoyle, who I'm just gonna say at this point has been dealt with because they were waylaid by villains Tasha's hideous laughter spell, and were completely taken out of the picture, leading you all to not care about them at all. So currently, you are without any need to hurry any longer now that the threat has been taken care of. What do you all do?
So, Scanuck, tell us about your journey.
It was a lot like those dreams from RL, honestly. You know, there was the endless plain of ice, and you know, tons of frozen corpses standing around. There was a guy that still like talked, and he seemed alright, I guess.
So,
As trips to the hells go, I rated a 7 out of 10.
you mean 7 out of 9?
No, 6 out of 9.
Yeah,
Below that
you did have
scale.
a very nice conversation with a resident of the Hells. In the brief moment of time in which Avarice had banished you to a temporary stay in the icy pits.
We played I Spy. He was really good at it. It was like he'd seen everything.
He was in fact very good at it. So, you hear a voice pipe up, the voice of the young man. Um, I really don't know what to say except thank you. You said there was a safe spot, near the entrance to the city.
Hmm?
Yeah, we've been camping on the ice bridge. Nothing's been disturbing us there.
Yes, but you mentioned a penguin and a dryad.
Yeah, there's a purple tree there that a dryad lives in.
Yeah, I think I want to get out of this city, and I think I want to say I'm sorry to my mum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quick point of order.
Yes.
How did you get past the Remoraz?
We didn't go that way. We went the other way.
There's
Okay.
another way.
What way is that?
It was the way that you kind of walked around it. It was it went past this really creepy tunnel. There was this thing in the ice, and I think Avarice shielded us from it because it was it tried to get into our minds. So we went around that thing.
Oh.
Gotcha. Well, I think we're planning on going back the way we came.
Are we?
So, we might want to hang back when we do that. That or there was talk of lifting off, but I don't know if that's viable at the moment.
Are you certain it's not viable? As Villain kind of like leans over above you. I think it's perfectly safe as long as we get rid of the original curse for the city. If we find the
Well-
source of that, then I think it's possible that the city could fly again. There are multiple casters around it. Look, it is a...
When I said viable, I didn't mean like physically viable or magically viable. I was talking about viable in terms of the greater picture of things. As long as that curse is here, and as long as that thing is here, we can't let it get out. We gotta keep it in here.
So we blow that up first.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly, Mr. Skanuk.
Once we do that, then everything's fine. We can do that.
Villain kind of rubs her hands together.
Also, we might want to wait until we've gotten rid of the menace of the skies, the white worm.
Well, I
Rude.
was thinking on that. If we do manage to, say, remove the curse, why not use this city as an additional weapon against the creature?
What, drop it on her?
Drop it on her again?
That wasn't my initial thought, but that could be something on the table.
I think it would ruin the city.
To be fair, if it fell the first time and it's mostly intact, one would hope that it would be.
I was gonna
intact
say
the
I'm
second time.
surprised it's intact this much.
Well, it's magical.
Do we even need to drop it that far? Just enough to, like, completely
We could just-
obliterate that dragon.
We could try to like land it on her, but I feel like if it's not going at decent speed, it'd probably not hit her.
Well, to be fair, dragons are extremely hardy, so yeah, I think honestly a dragon could survive a city falling in it. It would be extremely hurt by it, but theoretically a dragon could survive a city falling.
Wasn't she digging through the ground earlier when we ran across her that one time?
White dragons are
Oh,
known for
yeah.
that, yes. So she could in fact burrow beneath the city, but my point does still stand. It could still be a good vantage point. A good allure, if you will. I believe from the tales that I've heard of Arveiaturace, they don't like the skies being, shall we say, invaded by things that she could see as a threat. The Frost Maiden was, of course, one of such threats, but the Frost Maiden is no longer of concern.
To be fair, she couldn't see the Frost Maiden when the Frost Maiden was flying around, so...
That is true. Did you mention at one point that the dragon had poor eyesight or something?
Blind as a bat.
Let's see. There was something I wanted to construct, perhaps, before we went into that fight.
Yeah, I'm not gonna stop you from making whatever you need for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Don't mind me just doing some quick maths.
Yeah, absolutely. While you're kind of thinking about that, you will hear Professor Scant pipe up. And of course, there is the possibility of finding that scroll, that tablet, that strange magic that could perhaps summon the Tarask. Of course, that should be perhaps something of a last resort, but I would very much like to see the Tarask in action. I'm sure you would, Professor, but I would like to remind you that it would be completely and totally irresponsible to summon such a creature. But yet, despite that protestation, she gets a slight glimmer in her eye, because you probably can tell she couldn't deny that it would be very fascinating to witness the Tarask, despite the destructive capability and possibility for great destruction.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Yes, both Professor Scant and Villain say in unison.
How good a swimmer is the Tarask supposed to be?
You'll see that you'll kind of almost feel the gears and magic clicking away in Professor Scant's orb, like countenance. Well, I don't know about being a good swimmer, but I know they're very good. The Tarask is, according to legend, known for being a very good burrower, but there's no mention of it being a good swimmer.
I mean, if we just wanted to see it, we could set it loose on the Frost Maiden's old island.
You'll see Villain get a twinkle in her eye. Hox Hagnar, that is a magnificent idea. It's completely isolated. No one lives there to our knowledge, except perhaps a few Yeti. Yes, I could see that working. Are you suggesting we lure the dragon to the island?
I wasn't actually thinking that far ahead. I was more just thinking if we wanted to just unleash the Tarask to watch it.
Ah, well.
But sure, we could do that too, and it would be even better.
Very interesting.
Don't you dare.
Hey, Skanak.
Yeah?
I'm doing this in kind of a whisper to the side. Have you ever wanted to see a really expensive magical item burn? Just once?
Kind of.
What about
What are you thinking?
a Tarask summoning tapestry?
You present a dilemma.
I'm the angel on her shoulder, but I'm acting like the devil in order to make the devil who's acting like an angel. It's like, which one do I trust?
Oh no.
I can't. Is okay. Here's my question: is like one shoulder angel and one shoulder devil like the previous form of Meepo? Like one's like the current version of Meepo. Like one's the angel, one's the devil.
Oh no, I'm just the angel, and I'm basically tempting him to do the right thing.
Basically, there's two angels on either shoulder, and one is just talks in a creepier voice.
One's the more emotionally distant angel.
It's got like the black hooded Kermit meme.
But the black hooded Kermit has like a halo over it.
Yep. It's the halos under the hood. It's like trying to hide it.
So it's just this weird shape that's just slightly glowing.
Yep.
Like it's a brain tumor.
Oof. Yep. Not almost as many as I need, actually.
Either way, then we'll kind of like look at you all. I believe that was the last threat that makes our journey on a time limit. Despite the fact that we had, in fact, prevented Avarice from gaining entry. Now we don't really need to hurry at all. We should still be wary of Iriolarthas. He could still return to the tower at any point in time, but... well...
Yeah. Yeah, but, you know, we don't have to worry about someone stabbing us in the back on the way in. Actually, wait, is that guy still here?
I don't think he had anywhere else to go.
Hold on, are you talking about,
The guy me both saved.
Oh yeah, he's still here. He's just kind of twiddling his thumbs like, so should I feel like I'm just gonna head out.
Well,
Like,
we can walk it. We should probably walk into the thing, I guess. But,
Yeah, it's kind of dangerous out there.
are there, like, you know, other cult, like, was this everyone?
yeah, that was everyone, yeah.
Cool.
We had a bunch of goats, but they were, kind of twirls his thumbs again. We sort of used them for both food and setting off traps.
Practical.
Yeah.
Around the corner, you'll hear a meh. Oh, hey, one's still alive. He'll just kind of go over to where he heard the goat noise. And he pulls out. He does, in fact, to pull around the corner, a live goat that is a little bit worse for wear. You see, it's missing one eye. One of it's got a little bit of a limp.
Oh no.
Been through everything.
Yeah, it's
That's the one that we talked to earlier, was it?
not the one you talked to earlier. No.
So there's 2 goats.
We should definitely be careful. 2 goats could absolutely kill this boy. Wait, no, he's a cultist, not a commoner. He's fine. Okay.
He is a little bit sturdier, you assume.
Yep.
He's been through at least a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You do hear a secondary meh to the hole that you guys came through to get down here. He's like, oh, another one. He goes up. Tries to climb up after that one too.
No.
I'd stay away from the goats if I were you, if you don't have a use for them.
Well, I mean, they're still good eating.
Yeah, they kind of don't want to be eaten.
Well, I mean, not that you chickens or stuff like that, but we eat them anyway because it's food.
I mean, yeah, you gotta eat.
Yeah, you gotta eat.
It's not awakened, I don't see a problem with it.
You see Barte give you like a side eye, but she does give like a nod. It's true.
Right.
I don't know. I feel
Marta
like
eats
these-
stuff all the time.
But I still talk to them. I don't know.
I feel like these goats have been through so much that I don't want to put them through anymore.
You see Berte like gives you. Berte just gets real close to you, Scales. Like the head like presses down into you. Survival of the fittest, Scales. Survival of the fittest.
You were raised by Yetis.
But I talked to my food first. I ate it first.
I suppose that's true.
And
I suggest not talking to the food you're about to eat then. We can just
I
not
wasn't
eat these
planning on
things.
eating it. It's okay.
If you,
I've got gingerbread cookies still.
if
you
you
guys
will
go.
not, then Berte will. She kind of licks her beak. I am omnivorous.
Kobolds gotta eat.
For sure.
You'll see Evelyn just shuddering in this entire conversation.
You're a necromancer.
Yes, but it's still uncomfortable.
You're the most squeamish necromancer I've ever met. Actually, you might be the only one.
How much of a goat can you eat before you can't... Wait, no, because then you reduce it to skeleton, and then it becomes a different kind of... What's the... Being a
I've heard
necromancer must be hard.
I've heard of skeleton
It is a bit
horses.
difficult. Yes, it's more complicated than it seems. First of all, most necromancers can only animate mortal remains as opposed to beasts, which is a bit strange. There are rumors that some magics can animate beasts, but such magics are not common, not relatively well known. As you can see, I mostly only summon the undead regarding humanoid remains, but I hope to one day, perhaps, animate beastly remains. But yes, it is complicated.
As an aside, I think necromancer wizards should be able to reanimate beasts and humanoids with that first level spell.
You see, you would think
It-
so.
That would just be an extra
Honestly,
bonus to them.
it's more of sign to me at least. It's more a sign of like 5e's, like the way 5e designs characters not being very conducive to just applying templates, which would make the whole thing very much easier for elemental or necromancy or whatever variations of creatures.
Yeah.
But yeah,
They're getting better, quote unquote, about it. Like the Tasha spells helped with that, but I feel like it still has room to grow.
Yep. Anyway,
it does an interesting thing. Sorry, can I continue
Sure.
this
Go
aside
ahead.
just a second longer?
Yes.
It does an interesting thing where if you look at the published adventures and where, for instance, undead beasts show up, for instance, like zombie T-Rexes and such it ends up reading like undead beasts don't really get created by spellcasters, but more by like wide-ranging effects of necrotic or necromantic magic.
More like an after effect or like a side effect.
Yeah, that seems to be what ends up... If you assume that it isn't just a hole in the rules, that ends up being the implication of it.
Mm-hmm. Which is understandable, but yeah.
That's all I wanted to say. Sorry.
No, it's perfectly valid.
I think we've all had our say on this aside.
Indeed.
Unless Caleb wants to say something.
I'm okay.
Okay.
I like the necromancer pretty much the way it is. I've figured out like you don't get to control. Okay, well let me go on my thing. You don't get to control so many skeletons like for long periods of time. But what I personally think like the necromancer isn't so much a like I'm gonna summon a literal army of them because it's very inconvenient to do so. It takes usually about I did the math once. It was like 4 or 5 in-game hours to create. I think it was like 21 skeletons or zombies
Good
with
Lord.
like using all of your spell slots before you get the Wand of Orcus. But my next character that I'm playing is actually going to be Necromancer, and I figured, what if I, instead of making more skeletons, I just buff the one skeleton that I have to be an absolute monster. Like, he gets the magic sword, he gets the gauntlets of ogre power. I buff him with haste and stone skin and whatever else. Like a skeleton with stone skin to give him resistance to bludgeoning damage instead of vulnerability. That in and of itself is already pretty strong.
Yeah.
I feel that. It's pretty cool.
You know what? That's kind of funny as a discussion, because that goes into a little bit of like, in previous editions of D&D, necromancy or raising the dead was inherently evil because you're using negative energy to do it, right?
Right.
5th edition has played a lot looser with that in terms of, the evil of undead, and kind of the flip side of that is that typically a lot of the spells that control undead, you have to recast them to maintain control, or the things stay undead and just kind of wander off and cause whatever trouble. And that kind of brings it to the realm of, like, a necromancer who is maintaining one skeleton that they know for sure that they can keep it up and keep it under control, versus a necromancer who is very carelessly or vindictively building an army that they know they won't necessarily be able to control, but it doesn't matter because it has to be destructive. It almost seems like you've got the rules supporting kind of an idea of what the evil version would be,
Right.
versus what the good version, who is like, I'm trying to keep this under control, and it's something I'm working on and working with and maintaining, versus it's something I've created and let loose.
Yeah. Welcome to the Necromancy podcast, everyone. Sorry, I'm sorry.
But it's true though.
Pardon me.
Do we have people watching the stream?
Not at the moment, no. So no.
So it doesn't matter.
That's all good. It's all good. It was a fun aside. But
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the Necromancy podcast. I'm Blake Bonejangles, your necromancer host. And here with me, I've got... You gotta introduce yourself. Oh, splendid introduction. Excellent, excellent. So now that you know who we are...
the name's Calcium Canary.
Oh, God.
Drink your milk. Eat your teeth.
Mortimer Crane, the cackling skeleton, at your service.
You drink your milk today.
Nah.
How dare you?
It was curdled.
All the better. You gotta drink it all up. Slurp
Who's
it up like
this
soup.
guy? Curdles the milk just by standing next to it.
Hey. All right. Okay. Did you have a character in mind, Michael?
I was considering doing a bit with a vampire, but now this is just
No, it's gone too far.
it's just
too far.
It's just madness. It's madness.
All right, cut it.
And commercial break
Live stream.
over.
Wham!
Back to a regularly scheduled program.
No.
Intermission. Oh wait, wrong one.
Anyway, you're the most squeamish necromancer I've ever met.
Yes. Well, I'm not usually squeamish. Like when it comes to handling, it's a very medical. Never mind. Moving on. Let's go. She just starts walking away.
Yeah.
So she does exit the hole leading upward out into the city again, with the young lad in tow. Merte will follow suit, leaving you guys alone down here.
Well, so who wants to do the octave? Or do you want to take a nap first?
Let me do some looking around here.
Right, doing some looking around, some poking. BRB? Oh, okay. Yeah. All right, so you're doing a little bit of just looking around as you BRB. For the rest of you, what are you thinking? Drop my dice.
I think I'm okay to do the octave. Hang on. Yeah, 3, 1, 3. That's fine. That's all doable.
I'm pretty well ready to go. I'm not super hurt. Got most of my spells. Maybe a quick song of rest might do us good.
Hey, yeah, wouldn't hurt.
All right, so in that case, you guys would like to take a quick short rest then?
Yes.
Possible.
Very well. You certainly seem to have the time. That does mean
Burst out action.
I get to roll something. see.
Blizzard.
There is
Yeah.
no escape.
Yes! Yes, Caleb. Yes, the whole entirety of the inside of the glacier just becomes frigid white. You're now stuck, frozen inside the hole with no recourse of how to escape. You're doomed.
yeah.
Game over. It's game over, man. Game over.
The blizzard was the real enemy all along.
It's like that scene from Willy Wonka. You lose! Good day, sir.
I said good day!
I said good day. Oh. But no, there is not, in fact, a blizzard that shows up. But you guys can talk a little bit amongst yourselves as you take this rest.
So, question on Song of Rest.
Yes.
I've heard it. For any amount of hit dice that you use, you gain 1d6 hit points. Versus
Let me see.
for each hit dice that you use, you also roll 1d6 added on top of whatever hit dice you use. So like as a bard, I roll a d8 and a d6. If I'm using half of my pool, I roll 68 plus 1d6 or 68 plus 66.
So what I'm seeing from the wording of Song of Rest, it says spending one or more hit dice, you roll an extra 1d6, which of course at this level would be 1d8. So you would be an extra 1d8 just for the entirety of the rest. But that's just based on the wording I'm seeing. 'Cause it says spending one or more hit dice, so by that wording, it would stand to reason that it would only be the extra 1d.
Okay, so I'm healing 7d8 instead of 68 plus 68.
Correct.
That does not scale well at all.
I actually do not need to roll hit dice because I'm going to use my second wind and then take the short rest to restore my second wind. Because that's fun.
Indeed.
I have anything that's short resting. How genius is that? That's short rest? No. I think it's just. I forgot about the charm of restoration. That actually could come handy. Yeah, okay. Can we, as a quick aside, can we go to the map where we had the combat last game?
Absolutely, we can. Let me just zip
Yeah.
on back to that. No worries.
I just need to check whether my hit dice. Okay, yep, I do actually. Okay.
Of course, there you go. I should have done that before, but I just kind of.
Oh no, it's not. Sorry, I was just trying to check if my hit points were connected to my token or not.
Mm-hmm. Do they seem
Because-
to be?
Yeah, they do. They have all the same number.
Okay, good.
It's just odd.
Good. Which, of course, speaking of maps, I didn't mention this last time, but of course, as usual, these lovely maps are made by the wonderful and talented Tessa Moorcraft on DM's Guild.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have you guys reset everything?
Yes.
Thanks to that short rest button, yes.
It's so convenient, isn't it? It's like, why did we not have this before? This is game changing, literally.
I just took a little survey on Roll20's main site.
Oh yeah.
They're planning on doing some updates to layers.
Really? That would be interesting.
It looks interesting, but I don't see yet how much different it will be. Because it has like this map layer, token layer, GM layer, and lighting layer. And that's the same thing they have now. And they're just changing kind of like how it looks. But I don't know. They're trying to make it look more sleek, I guess. I don't really see a point in doing that if it's the same thing.
Well, if they make if the change is as good as the short rest, long rest button, then I'm all here
Yes.
for it.
As long as they're making good changes, I hope they continue to do so.
Indeed, good on you, Roll20. You got some good ideas. Now fix this. Now, if you don't mind, if you could fix the reveal tool not working
Yeah.
sometimes, then I would be very grateful. There's no salt in there, no, none whatsoever.
That was actually vinegar, not salt.
Yeah, that was.
Maybe a dash of shade.
There was a lot of things. There was a lot of things in there.
There's shade in there because you can't use a reveal tool accurately, and so
It's a layered joke.
Cackling
we
skeleton
are
just
nerds and
fell
we
over.
play D&D on several nights of the week, and we are sad human beings.
Pardon me. Whew. Okay, so you guys finish your short rest.
Yep.
And you head towards the stairs. That one single strand that leads to the top of the spire. And of course, as you approach, you will see the entrance is guarded by a shimmering field of force that you can see. It is blocking entryway into the tower. So then, who is going to be performing the ritual?
Wow. I'll just look through what this ritual actually says. Shield the heart with a wand from another oak. Summon a flame in the palm of your hand. Burn a burnt palm. Uses tongue to secrets. Coax a secret from another. Quench that burnt palm with ice. Tackles a blinding mass. Twist several actions. This and firm my circle of dead with consume poison. I guess we need someone who can summon fire on some level and has a secret they're willing to share.
You can summon fire.
Is this true?
Do you have a secret?
Let me check. Let me think for a moment.
That does beg the question, if only one of us needs to do it, or we all need to do it. Villain will say.
That's a good point, actually, yeah.
And if so, is there a way we all can do it perhaps at the same time to conserve resources? Villain will actually make a roll on the side.
Yeah, I'd like to, yeah, is there like an Arcana I can roll for that? So
Absolutely.
consider. Yeah. It would be feasible for all of us to do it. Should not have had a golden, but 28.
Yeah, a good roll regardless. Wow, how is it that... How is...
I have a lot of intelligence.
Dang. Well, either way, with that amazing roll, you're able to put together that perhaps the ritual might not be as unforgiving as you might assume. It's possible that you might be able to summon flame in other ways. Such as, perhaps, being as simple as lighting a torch with magic. Lighting a handful of lamp oil, perhaps, could take the place of summoning the flame, perhaps.
Fireball.
I have some incense.
Perhaps masking your appearance could also be done in many different ways. Perhaps an illusion spell, perhaps simply putting a mask over your face. It could be as simple as it sounds.
I can just cast invisibility on people. Or I guess maybe on myself or one person.
I don't actually have any illusion spell. Okay, so let's okay, so we should get some ice from around.
An ice cube just drops from the ceiling.
Yeah, quick, everyone make a dexterity saving throw. Shoo! Alright, Scaduck, you quickly, nimbly dodge out of the way as a massive stalactite falls down and shatters itself right next to you.
Well, that's convenient. Though a little concerning, I won't lie.
Yeah, Scales, some of the shattered ice gets you in, breaks apart and shatters into your eye. So you're like temporarily blind. You're like, ah! You're trying to get it out. You don't take any damage. It's annoying for a second. But there is some ice now. And to be fair, there is a lot of ice in your general vicinity because of the glaciers, probably broken bits and pieces across the entirety of the city. So there's no shortage of ice.
Well, in that case, I will steal a robe from one of these cultists. Actually, have we looted these people?
It
We
would be
checked, I
somewhat
think.
difficult because their bodies are frozen over.
Oh, right.
Right. Fair enough. Be kind of grisly to go through with firebolt, wouldn't it? Yep.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Oh, I can cast invisibility once per day and disguise self once per day, so I can do disguise self on myself and invisibility on somebody else.
Hey, there you go.
Does anyone have spare? Do I have spare fabric anywhere?
Well, you certainly have
we could-
the delightful outfits that you all have been crafted, so you may have some old outfits that you might not be using anymore.
That's true. Or we could just there's flags and stuff around, aren't there?
There were sorry,
Like
there were some
canopies and stuff. Okay, so let's take something like that and cut some holes in it to make masks. Obviously, Hawks doesn't need one, but or do you?
We could go to
Do
the
you
spiders
want one
nest
to
them
put
for
over
some
your
masks.
I can imagine him putting the mask over the Drizzt mask.
I mean, if it'll fit on my giant face.
An entire banner. Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, did we feel that it had to be the specific mask
guess
to
it's
hide our
different.
face?
Because I
Well-
think the Drift mask would work, wouldn't it?
That's I was making the joke that the
He
Dritz
also
mask
has
is
his
true.
blindfold.
Yeah, from the assumption you from your magical expertise, Kanak, you get you can make the logical assumption that mask your appearance was vague enough in its description that it could apply to many different things, whether it's magical or non-magical.
Yeah, I'm just saying we've got one we've got one invisibility, we've got one transform bird, we've got one, really that disguise spell.
Mm-hmm.
So we really just need one. We really just need one. Mask. Wait, I have a mask. I do have a thing on.
Hey.
Right.
You have your goggles too.
I have my goggles and I have this ram helmet of icy dread,
Oh yeah.
which has a
Where?
from the giant. That one giant in the when like at the tomb, the giant tomb.
The one that we fought?
The old
I
blind
think
guy.
Yeah, the one that we fought. It was like she was the prophesied heir to the giant.
Oh, she was
clan
the
of
one that knocked off Hawks' leg.
No, the
Mm,
thing that knocked
It
off
was the
his leg
same
was the
fight.
Awakened Swords.
Yeah, it was the same
Alright.
area.
Yeah.
I think it was even like the same initiative because she was very angry when we were opening that stuff. But no.
It was not, embarrassingly, it was not even a named person who took Hox's leg off, but an
I-
animated axe.
Insult to injury.
Yes, really.
But yeah, you do in fact have the ram's helm, which could possibly work.
Yeah.
So, do we have everything then? Perhaps
It looks like we might.
we could hold
got
multiple
wisdom.
wands together, perhaps?
Well, I mean, I didn't get one, so
Yeah, that's gonna
Share?
be fun.
Well, we
Yeah,
could
we
just
could do that.
share it with one another. It doesn't say you have to hold it over your heart the whole ritual.
That's true.
If we stand in a circle and just pass it one to each other,
Mm-hmm.
it could theoretically work.
I have a feeling that whatever this ritual is going to make some leeway for, like, for instance, having servants or minions, summons.
I could
That
see that being the case.
We might not have to worry about all of us doing this if, like, I don't know, maybe we swear fealty or whatever. But yeah, I think we should try it just one at a time first and see if that opens the door for us before we start having to scheme out an entire process.
Fair enough. In that case, Canuck, I think you're the most apt for it. Alright, so, describe yourself performing the ritual.
Okay. So let's look through these ritual notes. Shield the heart with a wand of another. I'm assuming that means like crossing it over the heart, like holding it over the heart.
You would assume so, based on your
Yeah. Okay.
wonderful check from earlier.
Fair enough. All right. So that, and then using the firebolt spell to summon a flame in the palm of my hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeet.
Let the flame be summoned.
And now for the secrets. So as it turns out, I might have stolen something from the Arcane Brotherhood during the test.
Didn't you say that one already?
No, I rigorously denied any connection to the events.
Ah, so you're admitting it then.
Yeah.
You see Villain writes something down.
Yes. All right, someone else now.
Right, someone has to share a secret with you.
Right. Before I was a kobold, y'all know I was a Kenku. And to get by, I was a forger.
You committed crimes. Villain will look somewhat shocked.
Clearly
I
not
wasn't a
violent
cleric
ones,
at
though.
that point.
I know, it's fun. I honestly cannot imagine you in that situation. That is quite the transformation, I will say. In more ways than one. Alright.
Okay.
has been shared with you.
Now, Ashes of Dead. Oh no, the mask.
You're forgetting
I'm
a
going
step.
to
Quench the flame in ice.
Oh yes, I'm going to the ice. You'll stick the hand that I cast Firebolt on the ice.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually probably rolled damage for that Firebolt, shouldn't I?
Probably. You can go ahead and do that.
Yeah. Cast it on my hand. Uh, it's like
You know what? I'll.
I'm afraid, Evan.
Well,
I'm afraid.
no. This won't be as bad as you think. I'll say. I'm gonna let the natural one stand, but not for the reason that you think. I'm gonna say that it doesn't actually hit you, and all it does is it just has it be like in a weird sort of stasis in your hand, it completely fails to launch the spell. So you literally have the firebolt in your hand. You failed to cast the spell so hard that it just didn't leave your hand.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to put that on the ice.
All right, you put it in the ice. It completely fizzles out.
Good. And then I'm going to put that helmet on with its full face thing. I actually might have. Yeah, I've also got some like scraps of leather and a cloak. It looks like from someone. I'm going to like use that to cover what parts of my face that the helmet doesn't.
All
And
right.
then Ashes of the Dead. Did we actually think to do this? Can I borrow your zombie a bit, fellas?
She's already snapped off a bone.
Excellent. Now we shall burn the zombie, and yeah, we can burn the end of the bone and use it to like scratch into the ground.
All right, I'll count the 18 that you rolled for this purpose, even though technically it was for something else.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, you launch the firebolt at the end of the bone. It basically chars itself. Go ahead and roll damage for it, just for formality.
18? 18 fire damage.
All right, so it basically disintegrates the end of the bone, and with that, there's enough ash to spread around.
Good.
That's a lot of fire damage.
And then, yeah, that's a spooky spook spell sometimes, honestly.
Like for a
All right,
too.
yeah. 8 cents. Circle of death. Consume poison. I do have some poison from those drow.
Indeed.
Yep, that's gonna be unpleasant, but I do have a bit extra as well. So I'm going to just slug back one of those.
All right. Go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Okay. 16.
Okay, 16. Let me double check this. Okay. Yeah, you consume the poison, and there's a moment you just kind of like retch. It's like, huh. It doesn't taste bad necessarily, but it's like sour cough syrup.
Ugh.
That's redundant.
Well, here's the thing.
Spoiled cough syrup.
It's spoiled cough syrup. Like, so that it's a bit it's more sour than you might think. But despite that, you keep it down, and you don't feel the poison course through your body. It's probably not meant to be delivered in this way. Like, it's probably meant to be like a piercing poison or something like that. So it's probably the safest way you could possibly ingest it. So with that, the ritual is complete. Do you walk into the force field?
Gonna poke a hand into it. Poke the end of my tail into it.
All right. Your tail passes through.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, of course, we almost missed a step. We pledge loyalty to thee, Skanak. Then we'll kind of look at the rest of you.
I'll forever be your friend.
Loyal to the end.
Loyal to the end.
Oh, guys.
The tower's
It's
force
like-
field wiggles for a bit. Maybe in revulsion? You don't know.
The power of friendship discusses it. Well, here we go.
I'm gonna push my arm through.
Okay. You push your arm through. There's a moment where the force field pushes back, but then as Skanak pushes through, it relents, and you are let through.
Worked.
Okay.
Saved us a bunch of time. And having to dig for secrets.
Also, a lot of bones that would have to be snapped off.
Yeah. Well, we could use some of the extra ash.
Cool.
So, you begin the slow climb up the rampway. And it's almost like the inside of this rampway is like a one-way mirror. From the outside, it was completely opaque and obsidian, but from the inside, you can see the entirety of the city, like a glass tunnel. And eventually, you make it towards the top of the Spire's stairway.
Very much has to squeeze.
Indeed. Near the apex of this tunnel, the ceiling gives way to a landing that offers a view of the citadel's uppermost reaches. You will see light illuminating from a set of steps that ascend to a pair of mahogany doors in front of you. Your immense size is causing you to squeeze a little bit, Hawks. So it's a little bit difficult, but you imagine you can see a little bit beyond the doorway. You hear the sounds of laughter, merriment on the other side. And you can see it most likely goes into a larger room that you wouldn't have to squeeze in.
Oh, thank you.
Now, this is going to be a very odd and personable question for your characters. What would you consider your characters' alignments to be?
Interesting.
Lawful good. Meepo's
I have-
easy. Easiest character I've ever had to align.
Neutral good.
Okay.
I have Skanak marked down as chaotic.
Chaotic doesn't
That's
matter.
good.
Okay. Personally, I would see you as more of a chaotic neutral type, but do you see yourself as more of a good type?
Probably neutral,
Yeah.
honestly.
I'm kind of on the fence between chaotic neutral and chaotic good.
Which one would you think is more accurate? Just on a personable level.
Probably chaotic good.
Okay. As you, well, I will say, are you going to enter through these doors?
Yeah, I think Cox will try to get to some more space so he's not squeezing.
Indeed. So, with that, you will open the set of double doors, and I will reveal to you what you see. If the reveal tool complies with me, and it did! Look at that. What do you know?
Things are getting better.
Things are getting better. So, you pop right into the doorway, and immediately as you set foot, You feel this overwhelming evil presence that just strikes you at your very core, Hawks. You will take 26 points of necrotic damage.
Well, that's not pleasant. Ugh.
Yeah, and as soon as that wave passes over you, you feel totally fine. In fact, you're nearly enthralled by what you see and feel as the chamber music washes over you as you enter this ballroom. In contrast to the desolate, frozen ruins outside, you see around a dozen people milling around, dressed in flowing silk garments, very similar to what you're wearing, all holding colorful hand masks and feathered fans. Noble-looking courtiers laugh and gossip as servants move among them, offering sugared treats on silvered platters. They don't even seem to notice you as you enter this room.
Hey, Meepo, be careful at the doorway.
I will. Can I see the people kind of around him?
Indeed, you would. And they don't seem to pay you any mind as you are walking in. They do seem to look at you for a moment. They recognize that you are there, but they seem too preoccupied with what they're currently doing, too enamored with their own ego, as it were.
Ah, the rich.
What's one way to put it? As you yourself enter, Meepo, like you saw what happened to Hawks. He kind of doubled over, almost in a little bit of pain. You yourself feel this immense wave of just this dark, evil energy wash over you. You feel your heart pounding in your chest, but you feel the light of Eldeath wash over you, and you do take 7 points of necrotic damage, which is nowhere near as much as you feel hurt Hawks, but you still feel that evil wash over you for a second. But then that immense pain is calm now, as you feel.
Can I tell?
Go ahead.
Can I tell where that evil was like emanating from directly, or is it just like a general area?
Roll a religion check.
I sure will. Religion starts with an R. It's below the piece.
Just gonna fix some of that real quick.
27. You think to yourself for a moment, and then you realize this tower is most likely the lair of a great evil creature, and you realize it must be where Iriolarthas' power is most centrally concentrated, and in doing so, as he is an undead creature, an evil undead creature of immense power, most likely it's that evil concentration that is affecting you, but it seems to be a one-time event, as you seem to have recuperated somewhat quickly. And you do notice that, Scales, do you enter the room?
Yeah.
Yeah, Morte is kind of pushing you and like, go on. You as well, Scales. You'll take 24 points of necrotic damage. But as Muerte enters the room, and Velin enters as well, they don't seem affected.
Go.
And you are not affected either, Skanuk.
Let me help you here. I'll do it. It's first level, just to conserve spells for later.
Of course.
3 healing. Not much, but it's something.
You're forgetting your spellcasting modifiers, Steve.
Oh, you're right.
Let's see.
5. So 8 healing.
To who?
To you.
As you all are now entered proper, you'll see a few of them, a few of these nobles. Some of them wearing like long, flowing wizardly robes, along with their masks, and they all kind of give you a round of applause as you all enter, and then they go back to their current affairs, leaving you alone. But the music just washes over you in a very calming way, almost setting you at ease. There's that feeling of warmth from that stark contrast from the bitter cold of the outside washes over you. Yeah. You will see some servants like passing around food, and a few of them actually do go to all of you, and give out some treats and some wine that is currently on silvered platters.
Is this
I feel
real?
like I trust this.
Like, the wine, like, is all this real, or is it? This has got to be some sort of weird illusion, right? Like,
Velen will look around. It feels real, but I'm not sure. All the smells, the sights, the sounds, I feel it. Morte will kind of look. Morte does not care. I'm going to eat somebody's food, whether you like it or not. I'm starving. You, servant, give me some food. Right away, madam. And you'll see a servant go over and give them. It looks to be a small cake, which Merte will gobble up. There's not enough protein. Bring me some meat. Right away, madam. Leaves for a while, comes back with a big steak. Now that is what I am talking about. As she will devour the steak. It tastes real to me. But, Skanak, you may go ahead. For those of you who are suspicious, you may roll investigation checks.
12.
12. Okay.
Can I look at the people and see if they seem trustworthy?
Here, you may roll an insight check. As for the rest of you, you look on. As far as you can tell, it seems real, and the fact that Muerte seems to be eating real food to the best of your knowledge might be a good sign. It might be real. I will say though, Meepo, as you're surveying the people around you, you will notice something. I will say that a few people seem to be sort of repeating similar motions. Well, their conversation does seem to change. Only 3 people, which I will note here. I will mark them in orange.
A good color.
A good color. Favorite color. Around 3 of the dozen or so people in this room seem to take a keen interest in you. They're not approaching you. They're not keen on interacting with you. But they do seem to be more noticeably different than the others. One woman appears to have a very neon, kind of like vibrant teal-colored hair, which almost seems to glow. One almost appears to be a half-elven drow man who is sipping a glass of wine very, very intently and very scrutinizingly. He's the closest to you, Hawks, and he kind of like looks you up and down. That gives thing a bit of an eyebrow raise. And then one woman who is just covered in all sorts of finery with darkish tan skin, who is currently fanning herself, talking to several men who are kind of surrounding her on all sides.
I will point those out surreptitiously to my allies.
Yeah, I will notice as well. You will notice as well that this ballroom does continue on to the north. There are several exits and entrances. This appears to be. You do hear more commotion, more celebration coming from that room. There seems to be a lot of vaporous, colorful smoke that is coming from this room over here. There's another doorway up northeast up this direction. A hallway leading down this way. to like a set of different corridors, and another door down, like next to where you are, Hawks. And to the very far north, there is a shadowy sort of black fog that is emanating from the exit to the direct north of you.
Well, Skunnock, you're the guest of honor.
Well, in that case, let's try this room.
Okay, you will head down that direction. Okay. So, you will head down that way. The corridor splits into 3 separate hallways, 3 separate rooms, all of which have a closed door.
Are the doors locked?
Let me double check that.
Oh, I am gonna have to get smaller to fit in there.
And yeah, let's not go too far down this week, just in case there's something gribbly.
They don't appear to be locked. Alright. So do you want to open one of them?
Oh yeah, I'll peek inside.
Alright. As you open the door, nothing happens. You'll see a room, which gosh darn it, the reveal tool was working so well for me, and then it forsook me.
You expected it to work,
I
and that's why I didn't.
Yeah, I expected it to work because it was working, and then it didn't work. That's my own hubris, I guess.
But wait until your expectations shift.
Yep, that's exactly what it was. So this seems to be some sort of office chamber. You will see several scrolls and documents, but you will see it seems to contain a single table with a single cabinet with ruined parchments. Most of them seem to be ruined. There is a dresser containing writing materials. What you do notice is that compared to the ballroom, the entirety of this chamber is cold and covered in ice. Everything seems to be in disarray.
Everything. So everything out there is fine. Why is this place in such bad shape?
Indeed.
Is there anything intact among the scrolls?
Not in here that you can see.
Okay. Okay, so let's,
That-
what?
Yeah, well,
That just gave me a thought. If Hawks pulls down his blindfold and tries to use his blind sight to observe these people,
okay.
do they seem different?
As you pull down your bandana, you only register the drow half-elf. You don't sense anyone else in the immediate vicinity.
How far does your blind sight go?
10 feet. So, yeah. So if I go over this way, do I sense these people?
You sense only the ones that people had pointed out to you earlier. Everyone else, you do not sense.
Are we watching him walking through people?
No, in fact, they seem to be kind of like walking around him. He does. It's interesting. Some of them do tend to like walk away from him, but he does seem to be interacting with them, and they are. You feel them as you bump into them, Hawks. But despite the registering that you're touching something, your body is registering that. Your senses are confusing you because you don't sense their energy, as it were. You don't sense any breathing. You don't sense their heartbeat. It's like you're touching a wall that's moving.
Oh,
Strange.
it's very strange.
Yeah.
Well, so that means I'll lift up the bandana and I'll point out. That means that you're real, right? I'll lean in towards this woman here. Huge that I am.
So you say this to this person.
Yes.
Okay. As you lean into this person and say this, the music stops. And all the figures in the room turn to face you. Skanuk, you would also hear the music in the other room stop, and all of you suddenly are overwhelmed with a intense feeling of cold.
Was I not supposed to mention that?
There you are only met with silence. Until the woman in front of you breaks it. Go back to the party, stranger. Enjoy it. Don't think. Just live a little. Don't delve too deeply.
I should think we are dwarves.
Say, you're talking to kobolds. You say something like that, and we're gonna want to delve deeper.
You will regret it if you do. Relax. Enjoy.
We'll regret not knowing if we don't.
Do not press any further, and the voice will rise in intensity, and that wave of cold returns.
Now, there's no need for this to get heated.
I was actually experiencing the opposite of that.
Yeah, I realized that as I said it. What do you call the situation getting, I don't know,
Ew.
jelly?
Everything
Maybe.
is fine. There is no
Right.
cause for concern.
Yeah.
Eat, drink, be merry. The other two individuals that I pointed out before will begin to close in.
Well, at least they're not giving us the cold shoulder.
Yeah. Anyway, back to what you were doing, everyone. I look over at Skanuk. I want you to go back into the
Just,
hallway.
Goes to continue skullduggery.
Yeah. With the moment of silence and the intensity, the music will return.
Let's say we wait until Skanuk's done with his,
The rest of the partygoers will return to what they were doing.
facilities.
The gossiping and rumor mongering returns to normal.
Behind door number 2.
Behind door number 2, you will see another room similar to the first, completely frozen over and in disarray. Very dissimilar from the very vibrant, very warm ballroom. Leaving only one more room to investigate.
I assume that's the same, right?
There is something that you notice in this room, though. Well, the other rooms were bare and had no sort of intact documentation. This room does, in fact, contain some papers that are still legible. Do you take a look at them?
Yeah.
All right. As you look upon these papers, you get a sense that it's an unfinished letter. As you look it over, it seems to detail the acquisition of an artifact dating back to the lost giant empire of Astoria. And then you realize this letter is in fact describing the spindle, the giant artifact that you had heard about before. This rune-carved stone spindle is described as having an unknown purpose, but seems to be highly resistant to magic. The writer does note, though, that the spindle has been moved to the Citadel's stasis chamber for further study, which indicates that it might actually be somewhere in this spire.
Huh. That'll be interesting.
Indeed.
Like to scurry away with these documents.
Indeed. And just as you left it, the coldness that you had faced goes away, and you are met with sheer, delightful warmth and mirth once more.
Hey. Do I have any water on me? Maybe from like that ice block.
You would have a little bit of water, yes.
Yeah, I'm going to like put a tiny amount of it on the floor, like where it becomes warm, just like a couple of drops.
Where are you putting this again? Sorry.
Somewhere like in the warm area, just a couple of drops on the, near the wall, obviously, so no trips, but a couple of droplets of water.
Okay.
Have it.
As you sprinkle the droplets, they freeze to the ground.
Huh. That's good to know.
Do you guys happen
Oh.
to have a bathroom I could use? Asking the lady.
Why would you need one of those? The entirety of the ballroom laughs.
Huh. Thanks anyway. Huh? That didn't work.
You'll see the dark half-elf walk up to you. Clearly, you just need another drink. The bar's that way. Kind of points up to that doorway up there.
Muerte, you're sure you're feeling all right?
I've never felt better. Well, actually, no, that is not a lie. I would only be feeling better if I was viscerating my enemies. So it could be better.
So if someone were to like animate a bunch of cooked steaks to fight you.
I glance over at Scales when he says that.
I would not think that unwelcome. Merte will think we'll think about it for a moment.
You give this bird like deep philosophical question. Okay. So does anyone have a preference on where we check next? I kind of feel like the bar was suggested, but
You're too stressed as well. Have a good smoke over there.
oh, so that's where you do the drugs.
The only response that you get is a very wry smile, and a very, almost too cheerful tilt of the head from the teal-haired woman, the glowing hair.
Is she pointing to the bottom hallway?
She's pointing for the smoking, the drugs, quote unquote. She's pointing to this this larger hallway up here.
I think I'm gonna look for a restroom. I'm sure they've got one somewhere here. I'm gonna open this door here.
All right. They don't seem to stop you. They seem to be too concerned with the revelry, as it were. But you do come across a larger hallway, which does kind of split off.
This one.
All right. You come across another door and another hallway going down that way, which leads to another door. I will say, let's see here. There is something that you do see, though, as you are walking down this way. You will see another one of those Magian in the hallway. So back up just a little bit, right there. Yeah, a little bit back, like right there. Let me first get a token for this gentleman.
Gentle Magian.
Gentle Magian. Magian. Here we go. You will see this individual walk up to you, Meepo, and you will hear a word in your mind. You are trespassing down this direction. If you do not leave at once, I will be forced to eject you. Return to the party. Enjoy. Relax.
Is this way okay?
No, it is not. That area is restricted.
Could you tell me what's there, at least?
It is restricted. They will advance on you slightly.
Alright. They have a guard there.
Guard.
That's where they got to keep the good stuff then.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, I see. So they're trying to lead us to a smoke room where they've got the weak stuff. And they've really got the good ones, the good stuff, down that way. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it might not be drugs, but, you know. It might also be loot, which is like drugs, but better.
I think whoever came up with this fake party had to have been on drugs, if we're going to be honest here.
I
Yeah.
think it was the illusion mage. Maybe the enchantment mage is involved too.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, want to go check out the bar at least? See what it's like? I'm kind of curious.
Might as
Wonder if
well.
they have potions or something.
All right, so you enter that direction.
Oh, that's an option, Scales.
I like that idea. Problem is, we wouldn't be able to learn anything unless... Oh, I do have an idea.
Dun, 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 dun.
Spider scales.
Spider scales.
I'll just do Eldest telepathic bond with everyone.
Okay.
Now we can talk.
So you all feel a psychic connection where all of you can communicate with each other in secret, telepathically. So, now that that is in motion, does one of you continue to the bar area?
I'm waiting for the others to join me. If Scales wants to turn into a spider, he's welcome to, and he can do that while we're checking up here. That's up to him.
Yeah, Villain will kind of stroke her chin. I think I'll see whatever weak drugs they're doing up here, and Villain will kind of wander up towards the smoke area.
Remember, don't get too caught into it. It's obviously meant to keep us, keep our attention.
I'm aware. I'll try and scout out whatever this is up here. She kind of points towards the black fog, but I'll keep that in mind.
I'm still very curious about what these people actually are.
All right, so as you're kind of having that thought, Morte currently is just having a lot of fun just eating. She's having a good time. She's kind of distracted. As that happens, those scales will shrink to the form of a spider. Which, do I actually have a spider token somewhere? Let me see here. Spider. I don't... This'll have to do it. It's a face spider, but it's not really a face spider. I'll make it a little bit tinier. And I'll give you control over it. Alright, you should be able to control it now. Alright, there you go. You now have control over that as you skitter away. It's an 8-limbed spider-sized yeti. Oh gosh, I don't even want to think about it. That's like some The Thing territory right there.
Listen, it's a lot better than a four-limbed yeti-sized spider.
Touche. So, the rest of you, I
Is
assume, are
so?
going with Meepo. Besides Scales.
I'm a little worried about Velen getting into something she shouldn't. So I might accompany her to the smoke room just so I can be like, no, if she decides to try something that is questionable.
And to be fair, it's probably a lot easier for you to squeeze into that than it is for you to get through here.
Yeah, that's another good point. If I can hold off on using reduces, then I might as well do what I can do there.
Okay. So... Actually, there should be someone else in here. As you enter that room, Hawks, you're kind of like squeeze in. You can feel like the walls kind of crowding you a little bit. But this appears to be a small, cushiony den, as courtiers lounge on luxurious cushions inside this circular chamber. You can see they're smoking from these kind of like these long pipes and dining on very delicious-looking fruit. Against the back wall, you will see a large harp, its strings being plucked magically to fill the room in the haunting music. You might actually see that this is where the source of the music is coming from. It is filling the entirety of the ballroom with that haunting music. In the middle of the room, though, there is a gem-studded cubic wooden chest, sitting on a round marble table with an octopus-shaped base. And you can see that the guests are currently, as they're smoking on these long pipes, they do offer some to Velen, who doesn't quite accept it just yet, but she will gesture towards the chest in the center as one of the guests sees the gesture and actually opens the chest. And the chest will actually produce a bit of fruit, which the guest then eats.
I throw my blindfold on. How many of these people are actually here?
None of them are there.
That does mean that we're not being watched by the ones who are.
That is what it seems to be.
Do I have the telepathic bond with Velen?
You would. I
Yes.
believe it's all of you.
Okay. Then I would immediately let her know that none of them are real.
She will look very concerned for a minute, and she will respond back to you telepathically. That is disconcerting. It's like they can interact with us and the mat and all that's around them. This is a very powerful illusion magic.
Does mean we're not being watched right now.
That is true. I'm curious, actually. Evelyn will actually pick up the chest in the center of the room, and none of the guests will react. I think we can take this with us. It's quite heavy, though.
Well, I seem to specialize in things that are quite heavy. So why don't you just toss that in my magically expanded giant backpack that grew with me?
I think I'll do just that. And she will tentatively hand it over to you, and the guests just smile, tilt their heads slightly.
Thanks for the fruit, suckers.
They will wave. The illusory suckers will wave back at you.
I'm tempted to take that harp, too. But then the music will stop, and people will know something's up. Ah.
Yeah. As you all are doing that, you, Meepo, and Skanuk enter the bar. And in the bar, you will see well-dressed revelers milling about, loudly talking to each other, while servants carry bottles of wine and spirits around to refill their cups. Behind the rectangular counter, you see a bald, pale-skinned human woman serving wine from an ornate bottle. She will not say a word, but instead pour 2 glasses of wine and slowly push them your direction while giving a slight smile. You see behind her as well, there is a very large storage rack holding dozens of bottles.
Can I tell if she's acting like robotic like the fake ones, or does she seem more like the real ones?
Roll an insight check. Oh.
Oh, right.
Not only is
Almost
she
40.
not only is she acting robotically, everyone in this room seems to be going through the same similar motions. There's still organic conversation that seems to be taking place, but there is something off. You don't get the same feeling that you got from the individuals I described earlier.
Yeah. I'll just let everybody know that everybody in this room is fake. With the telepathic bond.
Is this purple bit a door?
It seems to be a curtain, yes.
I'm just gonna walk over there and... After you?
Poke my head through.
Right? You poke your head through. There appears to be a small study. Seems to be just a simple chair with a lectern at its side. There doesn't seem to be anything of importance in this room that you can tell. I will say there is a window outlooking the entirety of the city, but there is something strange that you notice in that the city looks complete. There is no destruction. There's nothing wrong with it. It's as if it was completely normal.
See.
And as you're having
that's
that
good.
realization, sorry, were you going to say something? I'm sorry.
No, just that's what it's supposed to look like, yeah. Ah.
Yeah, as you're having that realization, do 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 do, the spider will crawl its way along the walls, and there is just enough space that you can crawl under the doorway. I will need you to make a stealth check using the spider stats, though. It's currently the mage is starting to kind of like, it was still kind of standing in that doorway, perhaps waiting to see if Meebo would return. But they're slowly turning around, and they don't seem to notice you as you're making your way through, and they will go back into this corner over here. All right. There are 2 doorways here. And there's also, it seems to be a small sort of opening down here as well. But there's that door to the north, one door to your immediate east, and then one open hallway down there, which is very, like a very small open doorway. Directly to the north, then. Okay. As you crawl through this area, shifting green, purple, and blue light spills into this room through a single window. You will see bolted down tables holding an array of equipment, beakers of alchemical fluid, alembics, cut crystal needles, surgical tools, coil leather tubes, and more, all the makings of a scientific laboratory. Behind the table stands an ornate suit of armor, completely made out of chartolin, with orange light emanating through the cracks in it. Where the head should be is a swollen humanoid brain floating inside a translucent fluid. And this figure seems to have their back turned to you. But they are currently in what looks to be deep thought. Yeah, go ahead and make another stealth check, because you nope out of there. 15. You see the figure turn slightly in your direction as the massive armor creaks. But you quickly slide under the door. Whether or not you are noticed, you're not sure. But it did seem to turn slightly. Alright. You go under that door?
Yes.
Alright. And you will do so. This room This appears to be a storage room of some kind, but you notice that this sort of irregular kind of shaped room contains 6 staves that are stored in racks along its walls, with room for more. You currently see 6 staves that are stored currently. One that appears to be a straight stick of pale ash with a stern-looking owl's head carved into the top. One that appears to be a smooth, polished length of blue-tinted wood that looks as strong as steel, with these black veins running through it, and an octopus carved into the top. The third staff that you see is translucent purple glass, which splits into 3 branches at the top that circle around one another to form a hollow spiral, with an orb of lighter purple glass tucked inside of that. The fourth staff that you see is carved from golden wood, with carvings of fish swimming upriver along its length. Staff number 5 is made of weirwood, a hardy substance similar to oak. Its shaft is gnarled and twisted, its top carved to resemble a human hand grasping a snake. And the final staff is a staff made of chartolin. Very plain looking compared to the others, but it's no mistaking the material, which you've seen several times before.
Noted. And I'll keep that information tight. And I'll inspect the small cracky opening.
Alright? From what you can see, it appears to be a plain chair. That's all that seems to be in this room. It's very bereft and quite cramped, if you do say so. And you'll notice that the Magian has their back turned, is currently inspecting what appears to be a one-way sort of mirror that kind of looks out into this stairway. But you can probably see this Magian probably noticed you all entering the room. But now they are slowly turning back towards this way to perhaps retake their sitting position, so I will need you to make another stealth check for me. 22. Okay, you're fine. You quickly skitter away just as they're starting to turn around. You quickly skitter out of sight. And you go back to the door. going back to where you all are, for Hawks and Valin, what are you guys doing now that you have the box?
Honestly,
Because you peek around the corner, and Murtay's just living it up. She is just eating and drinking.
think I'm going to tell Valin telepathically to go check out the darkness, and then I'll cause a distraction.
Okay.
And I will grab the harp from the previous room
Okay.
and bring it out. And I'll clear my throat. I'll meander over this way.
The guests mostly don't regard you. They kind of glance in your direction, but the three individuals who you noticed all turn to stare at you.
Well, I say, if we're gonna have a good time, we might as well celebrate in the ways we know best. Let me regale you with the traditional story told to me by my mentor, who was a giant. I'll try to accompany it with music, but I'm not very good at it, so we'll see what happens there.
Okay, roll a performance check.
Don't you have bagpipes?
I do not have bagpipes.
Oh, I thought you did.
I have no talent with music whatsoever.
Okay. I must have been mistaking that with some other character.
Rob has backflips.
Right.
I will tell a story about... Well, I guess the sort of stories I would have been told about were like stone giant stories, right?
Indeed.
So I will tell the story of great works of art being carved in the stone beneath mountains, and the genius artists who bring the their images to life, and the tools they use to make this work. And I will strum the harp occasionally, even though I don't know how to play it. I'll strum it for a little bit of like an accompaniment, dramatic, just like pluck or two every once in a while. And I will try to make sure I am as loud and bombastic as possible.
Okay.
Which should be fairly easy for someone as large as me.
Okay. Let me see here. As your performance is surprisingly good. It's more that you're more charismatic than the music. The music is not all that great, but your storytelling seems to enthrall all of the guests, who all sort of clap and sort of seem to be have all of their attention on you. And Villain will inspect this area up here. Yeah, she gets a good chunk of time to do so, thanks to you. And in doing so, you will hear in the back of your head, thanks to the telepathic bond. Upon further inspection, the fog seems to be another illusion. There's an invisible bridge. I can feel it with my foot. But, it's a very steep drop, but I was confused and concerned at first, but there is in fact a bridge. I feel something.
How wide is it? Can you tell?
Let's see, it's about 4 feet wide. Wait, no, sorry, no. Hold on. No, actually, no. My bad. It's around 10 feet wide.
You'll have to be careful, but I can use it.
Yes. It's getting inside that'll be tricky. You might have to shrink down.
Can you tell where it goes?
It leads to a chamber on the opposite side. There's a purple glow that I can see. And as she's thinking that, You both Meepo and Skunnock, you would hear that in the back of your heads as well. And you Scales as well, if with your spidery brain, which doesn't quite comprehend it.
I was gonna ask, because the spiders, I cast it on him before he turned into a spider, and then he turned into the spider, so I didn't know if the spell, like, maintains, but just, like, doesn't translate.
The spell would maintain, but it wouldn't translate all that well, considering
Right.
his brain is very spidery.
It's okay.
So he wouldn't understand what was being spoken, but you would hear words.
Nothing but cobwebs and flies up in there.
Yeah, boy. You can transform back if you so wish, though, Scales.
Not quite sure I'm done with it.
Fair enough. You keep it up. You're just hanging in the corner right there.
Is Skunnock still checking out the writing room?
So apart from the view of the city, which is interesting to see, is there anything? What is on this table? Is this legible? Did we cover this?
It doesn't seem to be legible at first, but then you get a closer look at it. There are smatterings of what appear to be notes of some kind. It looks to be schematics of a magical security system. Make an Arcana check for me.
Let's see. That's well.
Okay, very good. You get the sense that these are ideas, it seems, for a magical trap of some kind. You can't quite get the entirety of it. It's very complicated, but what you can get is that there is some sort of summoning of something fiendish that will occur essentially if that will occur if a name is spoken wrong. Essentially, so it seems to require if there needs to be like a passageway into somewhere, and in order to come out unscathed, there needs to be a name spoken of someone familiar. In this case, it seems to be named someone important. And it seems to be written in, or signed rather, by Iriolarthas himself.
See.
Yeah, and what's more, it seems to be that this trap, this security system, doesn't seem to be designed for this floor. It seems to be designed for more of a study type area. Not like this one, like a lot bigger, it seems. But you think it might be on a different floor.
Good to know. I'll take that with me.
But there is something else that you might notice. Roll a perception check.
Okay. What's this purple box? Box of purple.
What you notice wouldn't be that. You are noticing something peculiar. Is that you see a skeletal-looking individual as you're peeking down from this window, who seems to be making their way towards the spire's the shaft that leads up to where you guys currently are, who seems to be in tow with 4 apprentice-looking individuals, and they're heading up down that way.
They're heading towards this building?
Heading towards this building, the same way that you all came up.
Okay. Do I recognize any of them?
You don't recognize them at first, but then you recognize the leader. And then it clicks to you that this is the tower's illusory form of them. That is Iriolarthas himself, who will soon be arriving at the tower. Do you remember that 92 that I rolled earlier? During your short rest? He's not moving very fast, to be fair. He's like moving surprisingly slow. So you probably have a good chunk of time, because it was quite a climb to get up those stairs. So you figure you
Yeah.
might have maybe a half hour, maybe a bit more time.
Right. Going to relay that to everyone.
You think that these fake weirdos are the ones that are actually real in here. Then they could have an illusory appearance put on them as well. Is there any chance that these 3 individuals we see in here that are like the ones we identified as not being illusions are Nothics in disguise?
It's possible. You guys failed your investigation checks earlier to determine illusions, but I will give you another check. Notice something else.
Investigation?
Investigation, yes. 3. To be fair, you still get the sense that they're the only real ones in here, but that's all you can really tell. The magic, whatever illusion magic is here, is extremely powerful. It doesn't seem to be dispelled by knowing that the illusion is there.
Not that it'll help that much, but you can use Emboldening Bond still for a little bit more.
I will say this. Despite the fact that despite the fact that knowing it's an illusion doesn't dispel it, you get the sense that it might be dispellable.
I wouldn't know how, though.
You wouldn't know how, but you might know someone who does. You remember Meepo dispelling magic in the previous battle?
Would we want to commit to doing that, though? Or just move on?
Do we know what's in that other hallway yet?
We know that there's an invisible bridge that leads to another chamber.
No, I mean the one down south that I couldn't get in.
Yeah, that was
You're the spider, right?
yeah.
You have 1 intelligence.
Yeah, you can't really communicate as the Spire telepathically, unfortunately.
Well, yeah.
I will let you turn back into normal though to communicate that.
Well, I mean, I still wanted to kind of see what was where Berlin was talking.
Okay, I did. You know what? I will, quickly. I will let you look at that if you want before you communicate that, which you will see. Yeah, this large cavernous kind of area right here. Which is this large drop, essentially.
Okay, yeah, I'll drop my polymorph.
Right, you drop your polymorph. Get that polygon reveal to get a bit more out of this.
You think the polygon reveal is going to cooperate?
You know what? The polygon actually does cooperate. You know what doesn't? The regular standard reveal tool.
Polygon reveal is a real one.
Yeah, the polygon reveal is the real OG.
Maybe that's just another illusion.
No, don't say that.
The polygon is really a minion of Iriolarthas. Infiltrating.
Yeah, so that's your back to normal scales. I will let you communicate that with the rest of the group.
So the area that you tried to go into last time, Meepo, with the energy blue guy thing, he basically is kind of like a gatekeeper-ish of sorts. He sits in this chair that looks down the hallway to a one-side mirror that he can watch people going into the ballroom without being seen. And then the only other two areas are a laboratory-like area with a brain wearing armor, and then a storage room of staves. Both of which there's Chardlin involved.
On all of the staves?
Just Chardlin on one of the staves, and then the suit of armor that the brain is wearing is also Chardlin.
Well, the way Villain had seems like a one-way ticket. Do we want to try to nab something from back there before we just rush down that way? Great big pursuit. Just
No.
grab and dash.
The Demi-Lich himself is going to be here in about half an hour. I could try to sneak. We could try to sneak by the ghosty guy, and steal some staves.
Are
Stick it to
we?
'em.
Are we in a position where we could just, kill anyone who's not an illusion and take what we want?
I mean, possibly. I don't. It depends on what these people are under the illusion.
Well,
Roll.
you guys get yourself into a scrape it.
As you guys are talking, roll insight checks for me if you don't mind.
All of us.
All of you.
I'll make that a 16.
Now I need to double check
Ooh.
something. Very good, very good, very good. Just need to double check. Okay, that was the important thing I had to look at. Meepo, you noticed that the people who were you assume most likely are real, are staring at you all very intently. As you guys are having this mental conversation. And they have this look on them, like they know something.
Also, oh my god, have you seen that one's hair?
You notice all three of them quaff their hair suddenly.
Ah!
They what?
As soon as Skinnock thinks that, all three of them quaff their hair suddenly. They just toss their hair randomly.
Interesting. So if they've been listening in this entire time.
You get the sense, Meepo, that they might have some sort of ability to read your thoughts. Because they are suddenly very keenly looking. And the fact that what Skinnock just said suddenly might prove that.
So we kill them. I say that outright in Draconic.
They stand.
Sounds like it's a ballroom blitz.
They stand up.
When did scales become the violent one? I mean, geez. All right, let's see what she.
I'm gonna add turn to something.
Iriolarthas begins to hover faster. What the?
Double check something. do. Okay. Oh. Well, it's still in that 20 minus 4.
What could have so little?
Indeed. What could have such little dexterity?
Probably the brain wearing armor.
Ah, I could do it.
My first thought whenever I see a minus to dexterity is that there must be oozes nearby.
Scales is out of range for emboldening bond, by the way.
Let's see, we'll get that.
Wait, what do you mean out of range?
You have to be within 30 feet of somebody else who's emboldened. So you have to be within 30 feet of another kobold.
Ah, did not know that.
In order to gain any of the benefits?
To gain the emboldened part, yeah.
Of
I'll
course.
post it for you.
Oh, okay.
We roll Muerte's initiative as well, and then we can go ahead and get started.
What?
There we go.
That's
Muerte. Alright, so let's change up the music a little bit here. Something more combat appropriate. Something with a bit more pizzazz, such as Buried Secrets by Travis Savoy from the Winter's Wrath album.
I feel like Muerte at this point isn't even going to join the fight. She's going to eat.
You might be right. But, for now,
Merte was involved in our conversation, like our telepathic one. I had
she
included her.
technically was listening, yes?
There's a difference between hearing and listening, I guess.
I suppose that's true, yes.
Muerte seems to be doing their own thing right now. But it is your turn, Meepo. Okay. You go ahead and cast Sanctuary on yourself.
That's a bonus action, and then I'm going to move this way.
Alright.
Get a little closer to Scales, make a little kobold chain, and action dodge, I guess.
Okay. You'll dodge. In that case, unless you have you used your post action, movement, sanctuary. All right, Skanuk. That means it is your turn.
Oh, can I tell if like these are like the real bodies, or like if there's actually whatever they are is actually in there?
I would say roll another investigation check. Okay, this is much better. You get the sense that where they currently are is where their real forms are, but you also notice something else. They're moving very slowly. You notice the majority of their movement comes from where their heads are.
Interesting. Okay. In that case, I'm gonna try and make a shot.
All right.
Yeah, fuck it, we'll do violence.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead
this guy.
and take some of these people out because you basically assume that they are illusion at this point, so there's no point for them being there to confuse you.
I don't know. We're going for violence. Yeah, this guy, like closest to me.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the half drow individual.
Yep.
Oh, how unfortunate for him.
That's feels bad, buddy.
Wow.
Feels real bad, buddy. Okay, hang on. 6. 56 points of fire damage.
How much?
Okay, so 19 plus 27 is 46, and then plus another 10 from the arcane firearm.
Okay.
I think that seems wrong.
No, I think
but-
no. The math tracks. I was just in shock because you basically killed him
Yeah.
in one hit.
Ah, shit.
So here's where I get to reveal what's actually going on here. The illusion dispels. You will instead see where the person's head was is a floating glass jar with a brain in it that shatters completely on the impact of the firebolt. And as soon as that happens, the illusion dispels completely.
That explains why you don't need a bathroom.
Hold on, I need to put that on the token later. There we go. And the others are revealed for what they are as well. These floating brains in jars. And the entirety of the room goes completely cold. All the laughter, all the music dies. But yeah, this one's dead now. Good job.
Okay. Okay, that's my question.
Alright.
Yeah, that'll be my turn, I guess. Yeah.
Yes,
Just gonna...
quite productive, in fact.
Yeah.
So, now it's the brain in jar's turn. This one will hover. Well, here, let me move their token back out because the illusion is dispelled. They will move, hovering in the air, 10 feet. And I need to bring out a cone. As suddenly you suddenly feel this warp in the space around you, and you feel your head suddenly start to ring with a white-hot intensity. Do I actually have things in here? Hang on. Ah, here we are. Here's the effect templates. Let's go with blue.
Yes, the blue, the color of thoughts.
Yep.
That's
That's
a cone.
Sure is. Let me double check to make sure that's correct.
That is a chunky cone. Ooh.
Nope, it is in fact correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that's yeah, I can't quite get you and Hawk, so instead it's just gonna go for yeah, that's what it's gonna do. Alright, so I need Hawks, Meepo, Scales, and I'm gonna need Villain as well to make wisdom saving throws.
You say wisdom?
Wisdom. Actually, hold on. Actually, double check. Nope. Actually, sorry. It's intelligence. It's intelligence saving throw.
Is this a magical effect?
Double check. It is in fact a magical effect.
Is it a spell?
It's not a spell, but it is a magical effect.
Okay.
I might just have to indomitable that. Or no,
You get the bomb.
that is true, but that only will bring me up to 8. I'm just going to I'm going to save my indomitable because I know worse things might
I'm
be
going to
coming.
use my inspiration on him.
Oh,
Oh.
Actually.
Oh.
On
Oh,
scales.
Villain.
I'm going to use it on scales.
All right. Advantage Scales. Ooh. That's unfortunate.
10. Still.
So, for those of you who rolled below 14,
Let's see.
Oh, good. That bond.
Can I see Scales?
not in your current position, he's behind the wall.
No.
unfortunately.
Hawks had,
See Hawks though.
You can see Hawks.
Hawks had an 8.
Is Hawks' armor shiny enough to
Plus
reflect
5 is
my
13.
image?
No, don't. No, you're not gonna have any of this munchkinry here. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
A fun thought, but no.
I'm gonna give Hawks an extra 5 with Flash of Genius.
That would be 13, right?
Yeah.
Um, let me
If you
check
had rolled
the
a 2
rules.
on the bond.
I think I can't do it after I know the result. So
Right. Okay.
All right. So in that case,
So either you didn't do it because you know the result, or you did it before you know the result.
So
and
in
you
that
wasted it.
case, Scales, Valin, and Hawks will take 16 points of psychic damage, and you are stunned.
Mm.
ooh, got brain blasted.
Brain blast.
Jimmy Neutron.
Starting to think maybe that since we defeated the person who is trying to race us to this, we should have taken the time to do a long rest before we did this.
Possibly.
I'm shrugging over here. But that was just the first jar. Yeah, I'm gonna need a wisdom save from you, Skiduk.
Okay. Wisdom save.
17? Okay, you're fine. You feel your body lock up for a second as you feel this person trying to hold you. But it feels like a more powerful version of that. Thankfully, though, it seems to have failed. Hawks, it is your turn. I'll need you to make that int save again. Good.
Again.
Yep. Okay, you are no longer stunned.
Oh, that means I can take reactions now.
Indeed, you can. Would you wish to take it?
No, I'm just saying I can.
Oh, I thought you were gonna do the, the rune. You know the one. But understandable.
I can't except at the end of their turn.
Oh, I see. In that case, Scales, go ahead and make another intelligence save.
Yes.
Are you there?
Say what?
I need you to make an intelligence save for me to avoid being stunned. Again.
That stacks.
No, it doesn't. No. It's not for stacking. It's to relieve the symptoms of the previous one. That is unfortunate.
Hey.
You are still stunned. I am so sorry. Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see. Muerte.
guess that's a-
Go ahead.
Good thing that one of them just kind of got deleted, because having 3 of these guys wombo comboing stuns together would not be fun.
It would not. I'm gonna roll a d100 for Muerte here. Alright. Muerte suddenly sees what's going on as she's suddenly all the food that she was eating doesn't disappear, but all the people around her do. She's like, oh, perhaps I should assist in some way. She goes right next to both of these individuals. This is nothing personal, except it is completely personal. I need to make you no longer alive if you are alive to begin with. Goodbye. And she will attack twice on the one that stunned you before, Hawks. Let's see here. Not a 19. Not a 17, but not quite. Both of those will hit. For 17 points of slashing damage. Alright, that is Muerte's turn. Valin needs to make an int save. I think I rolled the wrong modifier, but she still would have failed before. Okay, Velen is no longer stunned as well. Meepo, it's your turn again.
Does Lesser Restoration get rid of stun?
I believe it does, actually. Let me double check that.
I might have it on my list here. I might not. There
Let
it
me look
is.
that up. One condition can
Nope.
be blinded. Okay, no, so it has to be Greater Restoration, interestingly enough.
So I'll use a Greater Restoration on Scales.
Do you have, instead of casting Greater Restoration, do you have freedom of movement?
I've used all of my spell slots above that level, except for the one which is get out of jail free card in case somebody dies.
Uh,
Alright, so who are you casting Greater Restoration on?
The one who's stunned.
Both, actually no, so I think it's just Scales currently who is stunned.
Yep. I've been paying attention.
You have been. Congratulations. Your reward is an ally that is no longer stunned. Congratulations, Scales.
Do I have a touch? Is that a touch spell?
It is in fact a touch spell.
Then I move up to him.
Yeah, easy enough to do.
Conan is still just sitting there menacingly.
It is, in case I need it again. Don't worry about it. I'm just gonna
It frightens me.
just moving it to the side here. See, it's out of sight, out of mind. It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of all of the mines anyways. That's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
All right, so that was your action, Mila. Did you have a bonus action?
No.
No. All right, Skanuk.
Oh. Let's see. A little bit of movement to prevent the cone times. Let's see. Be within 30 feet of Oxos. So there. And then I'm going to zap the one next to Morte.
Which one? The one that is closer to Hawks, or the one that's
The one that is only next to Morte, sorry.
only next to Morte? Okay, gotcha.
Oh,
Oh
No.
my god.
Okay.
Skanuk, the brain deleter.
apparently. Okay, wait. So 13, 17 would be 30.
Mhm.
That would be 52 points of damage.
Okay, 52. It is still alive. But
Oh, that's just-
barely.
The audacity of this.
If you had
Oh,
done just a little bit more, that would have done it.
Yeah, clearly it's within,
Did you crit
Or
on the
hit
one that
points.
killed the other one?
Yes.
Yeah,
I did.
that was around 56 points of damage, I believe.
And this is 52. So,
They have around
okay.
55.
So we've nailed their health down to be between 53 and 56 within a 4-point range.
With
yeah,
2
okay.
attacks.
Only 2
So to be
attacks.
fair, they're not very hardy. They're just annoying.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's gonna be my turn, I guess.
Okay, good. Let's see if it gets back its Mind Blast.
Did the Mind Blast just stun us, or did it do damage to us
It did
too?
damage too.
Oh, I didn't take that.
whoa, sorry. For those who succeeded, you don't take any damage. For those who failed, they took the damage.
Right.
I didn't think it was a huge amount.
Ah, how unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
Let's see here. Let's see. This one's actually going to take an attack of opportunity from Muerte.
Oh,
A very bold strategy. Let's see if it pays off for it.
Is that the one that was almost killed?
No, that was the other one. Let's see. Didn't have it all 10 points, so 20 will actually hit. Or 5 points of slashing. Okay. So, this is going to be a bit of a pain for all of you. So, I'm bringing back the cone of pain. Because it's going to get a lot of use here. Fortunately, I don't think...
Out of range.
Yeah, fortunately, I think, Scales, you're the only one that's not going to get hit twice by this. Goody for you.
Yay. Well, and Skanuk, who's behind everyone.
And Skinux. So Skinux, it's interesting, because, like, he's the one doing the most damage, but really, these guys are really PO'd. Alright, so, I'm going to need Hawks, Velin, and Meepo to make intelligence saves again.
I think I'm gonna have to Indomitable. You know what? No, I can soak the damage.
Alright, you gonna be stunned again?
Yep, I'm fine with that.
Alright.
I succeeded again.
Okay, so Hawks, you take 11 points of damage. I need to roll an intelligence save for...
Is that the full damage? I think you didn't roll the 3d8.
Did I not? I thought I did. Okay, let me roll another set of... Okay, it is 18 points of psychic damage. Ah. Muerte. Muerte also takes the damage and is stunned.
The thing is, Hawks now has lots of health to soak,
Indeed.
so...
I do have bad news for you, Skinuk. This one did take offense to getting its friends getting zapped, so it is actually going to aim one completely at you.
Ah,
So, intelligence.
you know what?
It-
You know
isn't
what?
it
That's
really-
honestly...
They're like massive.
It is.
What?
So it's completely putting this massive cone just at you as pure disrespect.
I take this as legitimate respect, honestly. That'll be a 23.
Yep, you're fine. All right.
Sucks to be him.
Sucks to be him indeed. So it's now your turn, Hawks. Go ahead and roll an int save for me again.
That's fine.
All right, 7. Okay, you're still stunned. Scales, you're not stunned. What do you do, Scales?
Oh, knowing that the stupid big bad guy is coming up real quick. Let's just... Let's do this. It'll kind of catch Muerte in the... Well, maybe not.
You might be able to maneuver it. Hang on. Let me get the. Let me get a shatter out here. A circle.
Of the two, which has more health?
The one that has more health is the one on the right.
Okay. So the one on the right's gonna get a D10 subtracted from the saving throw.
Okay. Let's see here. This is Constitution. Yeah. Okay, they have an okay con. Not great, not bad.
Here's a question. considering that they're primarily, I mean, they're a brain, but they're also composed of a, say, glass jar.
Mm, you know what? I will actually count that. I will count it for the purposes of this. It makes sense.
Because I mean, if can they survive outside of the jar?
That's a very good point. I will put this into consideration right now. That's a natural 1.
Get wrecked.
Roll your damage.
He got fully wrecked.
What about the other one?
The other one is already dead. The other one that's alive is this one.
Oh, okay.
That's why I put an X over this one.
There are
Well,
3.
aren't there 2 there? To the right and left of Muerte? Or, yeah.
There's a character here on my screen.
Oh, there's the
I have that character. I have this brain. I have this brain.
the brains are here and here.
Yeah.
And I have this
Oh.
brain.
One of those brains is not moved on my screen. Roll 20.
Oh wait, hold on. It's not moved on the stream either. What?
Dum dum dum.
Reloading.
We really must have gotten mind blasted there. We don't even know where everything is.
Yeah, apparently the stream doesn't either. Here, let me refresh the stream. Or not the stream, but like refresh roll 20 on my stream side.
Yep.
Wow.
Wait, what? Wow, okay, so it doesn't show up on the stream still either. Alright, that's okay, so that's just gonna so for everyone who's watching, it is in fact right here on my screen. So
Yeah, I even
Hey, refreshed yours, Evan.
Yeah.
I did refresh it.
You refreshed this stream, right?
I did.
Refresh the other side.
Okay,
The
doing
one
that
that you
now.
moved them with.
And I'll refresh this side again after I do
Yeah.
that.
Because if we all refreshed ours and it didn't affect it, then maybe refreshing yours will.
That's what I would
Reset.
assume, and yet oh, well look at that. Okay, it didn't do that. There we go. Now it's done it.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Because remember, I said he took an attack of opportunity from Muerte as he moved this way.
Right,
Yeah.
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 I was just like waiting for the movement, and then I forgot that it happened because a bunch of other stuff was happening.
So I can only hit 1.
Only 1, yeah.
Okay.
Still though, rolled in that 1, so it's gonna take the full damage from this one. Ah. Let's see here. It's not dead, but it wishes it was.
Whisperances.
Yeah, as you see the glass surrounding its brain case begin to crack. And you see the brain inside wiggling with fear.
That was to its saving throw, making it a -4 because it automatically adds to the next saving throw it would make.
Indeed.
So
Indeed. All right. So with that, let's see. That was your action. That's your bonus action as well. All right. So that's your turn. Okay, that means Muerte. It is time for her to re-roll the save to stop being stunned. Will she do it? She will. She's no longer stunned. Villain will also need to do so. Meepo.
Now that Gales is no longer stunned, is Villain still stunned?
Yes.
I'm going to move Villain to the side here,
All right.
and then I'm going to 10, 20, 30. No. So I was here. Move there. 10. To here. 20. 25. I'm moving into here, but before I close the door and move back, I'm going to cast Healing Word on Hawks.
Okay. Go ahead and roll that healing. All right, you heal 7 points, Hawks. All right, is that your turn, Meepo?
That's my turn.
All right, Skinnock, it's your time to shine again.
I guess so. Yes.
Only because you've
Right.
done so much to these creatures already.
Yep. Okay. Let's see. Which of them looks?
This one, by far, like it's
Yeah.
like almost completely cracked open. You can see like little streams of like fluid just like seeping out of the cracks.
Yeah. I guess I might as well finish that off. Let's see. How does the other one look?
It does look hurt, but not as hurt as the other one.
Okay. I'm gonna I'm gonna shoot the one that's most hurt. I think. Just so there's least chance of something surviving.
A fair assessment. Oh
Holy!
my! That's your third one in a row
That's
with
my
the fire.
third
Fourth
and
one.
fourth.
Fourth? Oh, it's right.
Third and I.
This
Okay, I
is-
think I know what happened. At the start of the session, I typed /TTM into the.
TTM. What is that?
Oh god mode. That
It
must be what's. Yeah, apparently, yeah. So okay, that'll be.
It's like he died. He's dead. He's not coming back from that. Okay, he's gone.
But I have to know, Evan.
It's
But we have to
gone.
know. We have to know
15,
it was
49.
49.
49. Not only is it not there anymore, but there is. It's just a small. There is just an explosion of flame. Like there's no liquid. There's no glass shards. No brain matter left. It's just gone.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking, if we're gonna make brain puns here, my first thought is Andross's "Only I Have the Brains" to Lul Lilat. It's like Skinnock, "Only I have the brains
Oh gosh.
to plunder the city."
Gosh darn it.
Mind blown.
Ah. Skinnock, is that your turn?
I guess walk this way.
Sure.
Wow, a little bit down. Yeah, there we go.
All right. It's the singular brain's turn left. Does it get its blast back? It does not. So what it's gonna do instead? Let's see here. Yeah, I guess it'll have to do this. Yeah, I just need to make another wisdom save. Skinnock.
Okay. A valid. That should be an 8. No, 11.
11. You feel your body seize up as you are paralyzed from a hold person spell. Yeah, it's pretty. It's an equilibrium here. You gain some, you lose some. But that's all I can really do. Hawks, I need you to make another int save.
I think I'm just gonna be stunned for this duration.
Yeah, sorry, man. No!
No, they've got it. I'm not gonna bother using Indomitable.
Okay, fair enough. Scales.
Firebolt?
It seems to be working out well so far. Why not? Go ahead and roll. Yeah, you see as Skinnuk expertly destroys them with fireball. Oh, you think, oh, maybe they're weak to fire. He's doing so well.
He's just
Yep, this does have advantage. I swear, this one's a nat 22.
Loose.
Okay, it's not a nat 20, but it's really close. The good news is, that was enough to take it down. As you shoot the bolt of fire from your hands, you can see the jar, like the liquid inside the jar, starts to boil. And it boils the brain completely. Until there's nothing but a smooth, silky, bland-looking substance left, and the jar, no longer held aloft by some strange psionic power, drops to the ground and shatters, spilling whatever liquid was left behind. It was just this foul-smelling odor, which just permeates the now colorless and lifeless room. And with that, combat comes to a close.
am I still stunned?
For the sake of fairness, you are no longer stunned. I could have you play out, keep rolling for another minute, but I'm not gonna do that.
Okay, so Hawks is still holding the harp at the end of this, so he unstuns, looks around and sees that the combat is over, and then just starts strumming the harp.
Boring.
Well, I think I did great.
You watch as the harp slowly disappears along with everything else.
You saved a bunch of pain for us others.
Wait, what about the fruit box? Do we still have the fruit box?
You check your pouch. The fruit box is still there.
Yes. Most important thing.
You open it. You open it up as well. There's instead a nice, delicious-looking cake inside.
Damn it, but I wanted fruit.
The cake, in this case, as opposed to everything else, was not, in fact, a lie. I went there. I said it. I said it.
Is this because we made the brain puns?
Yes. That's your punishment. And punishment for the loss. Don't think I didn't see it over here. I saw it.
Did you see it up here?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I didn't say anything, but I knew. I knew.
I was like, hey, there's a bunch of blank spots here that nobody will notice until it's revealed.
I did. Well, with that, as the combat drawn to a close, and the looming threat of Iriolarthas on the horizon, I will end the session. I will end the session here for tonight.
Can't handle any more nat 20s.
That was insane. You were that was crazy, Michael.
I'm starting to feel like a half caster.
Oh,
I feel like the explanation here is that, like, knowing Skinnuk and his history, having someone show up who is just a brain, like, obviously, if it's just a brain, it's someone who thinks that they're smart, but that's the core of what they are.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like deep down, Skinnuk has to, probably feels the need to, like, show them up.
I hate those kinds of people the most.
Yep.
All right. So, if you've been watching, thank you so much. And appreciation again, Amlove1113 for the raid. We really appreciate that.
We had another raid.
Indeed, we did. So
Welcome.
if anyone's watching, go over to Amlove1113's Twitch channel to see some more shenanigans from their own channel, their own D&D streams. And of course, I have to as well thank the wonderful and talented Tessa Moorcroft on DM's Guild for this wonderful map of the Spire of Iriolarthas, and as well Travis Savoy for the wonderful comic music provided. So, until next time, I hope you're safe wherever you are and you're having a good time. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Peace. I didn't hit end. I hit the other mouse's controller, not mine.